We covered quite a few ways that you can format the data within your worksheet or the cells. You can either, for example, as far as the data goes, select a cell that contains data and then come up here in the font group and make it bold, italics, underline. And also you can give it some color. Click on the letter A drop down arrow. You can apply some color to the font. Let's get something that stands out, maybe a bright orange. Well, kind of a darker orange. Also, you can actually fill the color within the cell. And there's the bucket. Click on the drop down arrow and add some color. Well, let's not forget our borders. Let's go ahead and select it. Click on the border drop down arrow and let's do a thick box border. And let's say that I want to be able to take what I just applied to that cell. It looks awful, by the way. And I want to apply all the formatting that I applied to that cell, let's say to another cell or a range of cells. First of all, let's just apply it to a single cell. Instead of selecting the cell and going, let's see, I got to remember this. So we've got B for bold, I for italics, U, box border color in the cell and of the data within the cell. All I have to do is come over here and click on the paintbrush. It's called Format Painter. It'll copy whatever you have selected, and after it copies it, then you can just brush it into another cell and it'll automatically update that cell to reflect what you just copied. So the very first thing you need to do is to select the cell or the cell that contains the formats that you want to be able to copy, then click on the paintbrush. When you click on it, you get a bunch of marching ants, meaning that that feature is now activated. And then you can see that my white cross has a little brush. That means whatever other cell that I click on, it'll brush that formatting from that cell that is activated. And the formatting that's in the cell, well, it's all up here, and you can see it down here as well. Blue, orange. In any case, go ahead and click on another cell, and boom, there you go. Just copied it and pasted it without having to memorize all the formats that were applied to it. So the Format Painter, very helpful. And you can do it to a range of cells. For example, if I click on this cell and let's say it's going to be currency, come up here to the number group, click on the drop down arrow and say it's currency. And then if I want to go ahead and apply that format to other cells, first select the cell that contains the formatting, and then go ahead and click on the paintbrush and then click in another cell. And it adds the currency. Now, if I want to do this to a range of cells, because every time I click on this and I apply it once, the paintbrush disappears, and that can be very annoying going back and forth, back and forth. To keep the paintbrush up forever, all you have to do is go ahead and select the cell, of course, that you want to copy the format, and then double-click really fast on the paintbrush. Double-click really fast, and that tells Excel to keep that paintbrush up and going forever. Click, click, click. See, the paintbrush doesn't disappear until I do one of two things, until I either hit the escape key on the keyboard or click on the paintbrush again to remove it. So it's no longer in the format paintbrush mode. Another shortcut that I want to show you, which is my favorite shortcut, it's using the F4 key. Now the F4 key, if you watched my previous training video on absolute values and how to apply those little dollar signs to a formula, if you don't know what I'm talking about, you can watch my training video on absolute values. But the F4 key actually functions in two ways. You can actually use it to apply those dollar signs or absolute values to a formula, or you can use it to quickly apply the most recent formatting. And when I say recent, for example, if I go ahead and click on a cell and then come up here and let's apply one format, click on the drop down arrow and let's use green, and then I come over here and we can do another format, select that cell, and instead of filling the cell with color, how about if we change the color of the font? Click on the drop down arrow and let's make it red. Now, of the two that I just applied, what's the most recent? Well, it's the cell right here when I applied red. So if I want to go ahead and continue on applying the same format, the most recent format, red, to the font in any cell, just go ahead and select the cell and hit the F4 key on the keyboard, and automatically it applies the most recent formatting. So if I go ahead and I decide in mid-stride to change the formatting and say, I'll make it bold, the next cell that I select and hit F4, it applies bold because it was the most recent format that I applied. It doesn't remember any earlier formats, only one at a time, which is really nice because if I'm highlighting a bunch of cells, not all together where I can click and drag and select them, what I can do is I can go ahead and select one cell, kick the bucket, and apply yellow, and then click on another cell, hit F4, another F4, F4, and just highlight the cells really quickly. Now there's a trick to get around the most recent formatting using the F4 key. In other words, if I want to be able to apply one cell, let's say bold, and let's say a cell color of yellow and then the font color of red, the last one that I do, if it's red, it's just going to apply red. But again, there's a way around that. If you actually open or expand the font group, clicking on its dialog box button, Okay, for example, if I want to go ahead and apply the different formattings, including underlining, coloring, let's do underline, let's do a double underline. You can see it apply over in the preview window. Want to make it bold, want to change the color of the font within the cell, maybe make it red, maybe a larger size. Oh, also I want to change the fill, the color of the cell. Let's make it, well, yellow again. Click OK. Well, there you go. So next, if I want to take all that formatting and apply it to the next cell, hit the F4 key and it remembers everything. Or click and drag, F4, range of cells. Thanks for watching. Hey, as a quick reminder, if you like my video, please give it a thumbs up. You can also click on me and subscribe to my channel, get notified of the latest videos, and for only $2 a month, you can have access to all my Microsoft Office training videos.